Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today we're working on day 21 of By the Will for God's Witness to the Wonder. Now we're getting down to the end of this Advent devotional and I've loved it so far, but I am trying to come up with new and fun ideas for these memory decks cards, which does get a little tricky as you get to the end. But I forgot how much I love stamping on these canvas bags that the kits come in. And so I'm using that Washi Wonderland stamp set, the one that says "A Savior is Born." And I'm going to stamp that on this bag. This is actually an older bag, so I'm not using the one from this kit. But I didn't necessarily want the frills at the end and the beginning of this little saying. And so I'm covering them up and masking them with some mint tape before I put the Stays On ink on. I really like including that red stitching, especially for Christmas. And so I'm going to stamp that close to that red stitching and then I'll cut this all out. This will be my statement piece for the front side of this Memory Decks card, and then I'll add some other elements to create some layering. I'm also using one of those free printable pockets that I'll be adding to the back side of this Memory Decks card, and I'll include a little quote from Judy from today's devotional, as well as one of those flashcards. I also really like how the canvas frays, and so I'm cutting this loop on the bottom. This is like the tunnel that the string is held in, and so I'm cutting that apart, and it gives you 3 different layers of canvas so that it frays a lot. I had used this hymn book paper in a previous Memory Decks card, and this is Go Tell It on the Mountain, and there's a little part that's in there that says Jesus Christ is born, and I really wanted to use that since we're talking about a Savior is born. So that is what I chose to use, just that little tiny portion of this hymn, and I'm looking at different ways I can possibly layer it. Right now is where I feel a little bit lost, but once I add this label, it starts to come together. This is a label that I actually messed up on way earlier in this devotional for the flawed vessels, but I decided to keep it, and I'm so glad I did. I often keep those little things that I mess up on because I can usually use them in a different way. And so here I am, I'm going to cover that little oops up. And then I also have these little metal buttons from Tim Holtz. This was released with the Christmas Idea-ology line. And this is a cute little button that has a bird on, and it matches perfectly with this kit's theme. So I did decide to cut down this canvas a little bit and fray it a little bit more. It just seemed like there was too much canvas hanging down below the words. So now I'm going to start working on getting these cards ready so I can glue them together. But before that, I am going to cut all the corners and round them. And then I'm going to add some distress ink on the outer edges, just like I always do. But here's where I'm trying something different today. I know that you can blend using this glass media mat, and honestly, I just haven't tried it really before, or I haven't tried it enough to love it. But this is amazing. If you just start your brush on the glass and then bring it into the paper, it creates such a smooth blend to your distress inks as you are blending it into the paper. And I so wish I would have done this sooner because I would have been using it all the time. However, a lot of times I don't use my glass media mat because it gives a lot of glare in videos, but I think I might just start using it more now. I added this sticker label to some scrap piece of paper and cut it out. That way I get a more white look in the background and you won't be able to see the paper through it. And then I am going to start layering everything together. I'm looking at all these layering pieces, and unfortunately when you put this together, it does create like a rectangle, and I would prefer to have things drop down a little lower or above. And so you'll see me here kind of fidget with that. But first off, I want to distress this hymn book paper as well. I do know where I want this label, so I'm going to glue it down first. That will give me a starting off point so I can figure out where everything else lays. And then we're going to drop that hymn book paper down just a little bit below it. That'll add a little bit more interest and make it not so rectangular. Although it still looks a little bit off because it's too close on the same level, but you'll see how I work with that and kind of bring something above instead. I know I have that day number on the back side with the printable pocket, But since I'm trying to add something on top and break up this rectangular look, as well as add a little bit more black to the front side of this card, I decided to use my Dymo sticker label maker and add today's date on it. I will tuck that label back behind the canvas and it will live on the right hand side of this Memory Decks card, and now you can see how it breaks up that rectangular look. I'm going now to the back side of this card because before I put that bird button on, I want to make sure that everything is glued down nice on the back side of this. If I had put that button on already, it would have made it really hard to glue this down and hold it nicely. I was debating whether to fancy up these cards in the back or not, but I ultimately decided to just leave them how they are. I really like the grungy look that they have with that nice distress blend. So now I'm going to put this button on since everything is good on the back side. I just used my Barely Arts Precision Glue. You can also use Collage Medium, but so far with my accordion book at least, I've had good luck with my Barely Arts Precision Glue for holding down metal as well. To add some finishing touches to this card, I'm adding some Snowfall Grit Paste. This was a release from Tim Holtz and Ranger. It came as a set with the Icicle Crackle Paste, and I love this set. This was probably my favorite set. I did like the Halloween set as well, but this one is just surpasses all. So anyways, I think it adds a great little touch to the end of a card. It does go on white, but it dries clear and has some glitter in it. It makes it look like little chunks of slush everywhere. After that, this card will be done. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can click that bell notification button. That will let you know every time I release a new video. And I will link everything I use down below in the description. If you haven't seen day 20's process video, I will link that next. And go ahead and follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I hope you have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas.